even though we have started, we are starting late. Like the broadcast. Share it as well. So invite your friends and your not so friendly friends. Tell them all that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. And today, we have a bit to catch up on. So therefore, do all this stuff before, we get fully into it so that you can relax uninterrupted, all right? Just once, you have to do them once and you'll be fine. We have finally spotted Seamless Fubara after days of his suspension. And even though we are yet to hear from him, but we have seen him publicly. He was spotted in Port Harcourt this morning, where he attended a church service in the state capital, dispelling the rumor that he is currently under house arrest and being tortured. He didn't look like somebody who was under torture or review. So a glimpse of a Fubara earlier this morning before we continue, brethren. This.
Yes, let's see.
That was earlier this morning. But his suspension continues to generate reactions, even though it seems that they are just now the echo from the echo chambers of the opposition. But when it comes to Tifnumbu, he's done nothing wrong in the face of their law as passed by the National Assembly on this matter. But Goodluck Egbere Jolantan shared his own view on this, like Confessor Soyinka as well. So to Jonathan, let's be realistic. There's nothing secretive or nothing like just a Nigeria, sort of an issue anymore in this today's world, where the rest of the world, right, are also witnessing what is going on inside that contraption like Nigeria. And he's very right too, right? He said that including investors who are also paying attention to the happenings in Nigeria, that there is no real sane person, any real sane investor that is going to, carry his own money and take it to a country where there is no real rule of law. A place where the judiciary is so compromised that, not only that you will lose your own money, but it will be validated by the same courts that's supposed to protect you. So to him, what happened in Rivers State is abuse of power. He agreed, is unconstitutional, like many others have said. However, he can only possibly tell you, who cares to listen, that no matter what economic problems you think you are facing in that contraption, no matter the excuse or the excuses given to you by the Ronukus in their different shapes and forms, right? If you pay attention very well to the actions of this Tifnumbu's regime, there are enough clarity therein for you to know that, right? There is no other, there is no other weapon fashioned against you than this, APC, Ebekebe of Tifnumbu's illegitimate regime. Now, let's hear what Egbere Jolantan had to say on this in his own words.
And I did mention that what is happening in the country, everybody talks about Rivers State on television, and some of these are the issues we discuss. We're talking about building a society where no one is oppressed, as reflected in the top paragraph of our national anthem. As a former president and also from the Niger Delta, when the issue of suspending the governor came up, I think people call on me, oh, President Jonathan, oh, President Obasanjo, you should say something. People expected us to say something about what is happening. And of course, people don't even know that traditionally all over the world, former presidents hardly make statements about what the current presidents are doing because of the tension it could create in the country. In most cases, look at America, look at everywhere. So hardly for former presidents to make, sometimes you see. And of course, what is happening in Nigeria today regarding the situation in River State is like an Indian proverb that said that if somebody is sleeping, really sleeping, you can easily wake up that person. But if the person is pretending to sleep, you find it difficult to wake up that person. The key actors in Nigeria, from executive to the legislature, luckily Senator Binta and others are here, and the judiciary, they know the correct thing to do. But they are refusing to do it. They are pretending to sleep. And waking such a person is extremely difficult because the person knows the right thing. A clear abuse of offices, clear abuse of power, clear abuse of privileges, cutting across from the three arms of government, from the executive to the parliament to the judiciary. And I always plead with our people that whatever we do affects everybody. And sometimes we do things and we think that it doesn't affect us. I've been a president before, and even after leaving office as a former president, people get to me. Why is that our passport is not valued that much? Why is that Nigerians are not given the kind of treatment we're supposed to receive at the international airports? Sometimes we think it's because of Yahoo boys or 419ers. No, not only them. Yes, they are part of the problem. But whatever happens in a country, decisions that are taken by the executive arm of government, decisions that are taken by the parliament, judicial decisions affect everybody. For example, no businessman can bring his money to invest in a country where the judiciary is compromised, where a government functionary can dictate to judges what judgment they will give. No man brings his money to invest in that economy because we are taking a big risk. So whatever we do affects everybody. And if we must build a nation for our children and our grandchildren, no matter how painful it is, we must strive to do what is right. It may cost us, but we must endeavor and pay the price to insist on doing what is right. Whether you are holding an executive office as a president, a minister, or a governor, or a special advisor, or executive, whether you are holding an office in the parliament, senate, or rep, whether you're a judicial officer at the high courts or appellate courts, we must strive to do what is right. If we want to build a nation that our children will be proud of. As we engage in these discussions, let us remember that promoting social change is not a one-time event, but a continuous process. It requires a sustained commitment, collective action, and unwavering dedication to the values that promote good governance. Let us also recognize that social change is a shared responsibility, one that requires the active participation and engagement of all stakeholders, including civil society, the private sector, and governments. In conclusion, I want to again express my gratitude to the Haskell Satumari Foundation for convening this colloquium, and I appreciate all of you, especially a sister who came all the way from Kenya, as she has been introduced. If you are ticking the boxes for people that are supposed to be here, she feel.
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the three of us running. So they will spy on me. So you will have a limited answer here today. Another day you can bring me back. But that's part of what I do.
That's part of what he had to say. So that's how Jonathan said so much and almost said nothing without mentioning the name of the person that is abusing his power. And there's no other person than Tifnumbu abusing his power. And there is no investor that will bring his investment into a country where the judiciary is so compromised, like what you have in Nigeria, including what is playing out in Rivers. The consequences of this abuse of power, according to Jonathan, will be so there, like it will be so like monumental. And those people who have the authority, or those who are in the authority today, were advised to do what is right. And similarly, Confessor, Soyinka himself, the man that said that he will give Tifnumbu just 1 year before he will review his regime. The man that was in a Thailand business, rice business with this same Tifnumbu, if you remember, he has kind of like, sluggishly came out, and truth to him, right, is pretty much saying that the action of Tifnumbu in Rivers State is excessive. That is his word, excessive. And it is undemocratic. And it doesn't really bode well for the Nigeria's democracy. He said a lot, almost saying nothing as well. But listen, the confessor.
This situation is actually a few days old. I was watching what action will be taken by the House of Assembly, by Senate, and even by the affected politicians in Rivers State, whom I expect to be in the court by now. Because above the president himself, there's the law. And I expect those who are affected to take the primary step. Let me confess that I was surprised at the ease with which this emergency law, that step, was applauded and passed. And then the critical question, even within the powers of a president on a democratic dispensation, there are areas of discretion. And you're quite right to point out this wholesale suspension of everything to government. I think that's an over excessive response within the rights and the powers. We're assuming now, let's say that the president is constitutionally right, but within his powers, there are also areas of discretion. And I think that the wholesale scuttling of the democratic existence in the rivers was excessive. I think it could have been managed much better, much more economically. I think the president did not sort of curb the extent. He didn't economize on his presidential emergency powers. On that issue, I agree with you absolutely. There's an issue of the Constitution. Is the president's action constitutional? And I hope the affected politicians, governor and representatives, that they test this all the way up so that we get a clearer picture once and for all. Instead of running around in circles from regime to regime, it should be possible by now for one to be able to say confidently that this action is illegal, is unconstitutional, or otherwise. So for now, we can only leave it to the constitutional lawyers to guide us. Now, the next question is it politically wise? In my view, this takes us on a slippery slope. It's not what I would have liked to see happen right now with all our struggle to attain a federal structure. The spirit of it, in my view, is contrary to the spirit of federalism. Now, I spoke very carefully and deliberately, because this does not vitiate maybe the rightness of the action. It does not establish the wrongness. But with my commitment to a genuine federal structure, when an event like this happens, I say we're back on the slippery slope. And I hope that it is tested all the way, because as I've said, we've been through this before under different regimes. It's either we have a decentralized federalist structure, or we have a quasi-dictatorial, whimsical kind of government which just panders to the political leaning of whoever.
Before I go on, let me postulate from the Franz Fanonian dictum, which stipulates that the dialectics of reconciling two conflicting ideas is the algebra of revolution. The overbearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporombium and amounting to sadomasochisms. Acrimony and chaos in our community. It was a contumelious stratagem by political jobbers to siphon monies. We suffer what we call political axivia nunantorum.
Or Assimilia or Wanton, whatever. That's how your confessor is now talking. Now it's now kind of like it became so, should I say, it has become very hard, right, for him, or difficult for him to find the right words, you know. But before now, someone who is never or was never short of words to describe maybe the person he didn't like, who happened to be the president of that contraption. But he struggled. He had to. It was like struggling, you know. It's pretty much like, okay, you know what? I have no idea anymore. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I just think it's excessive. I just think it's, you know, democratic, blah, 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 blah. About the struggle. And that's just on the side. Talking about the River State debacle. There are other factors too, you know, like other people who are also having their own stone to grind with Tifnumbu. Currently, as the people of the River State are under the military rule, right? The APC, Ebekebe, are also rooting for state of emergency in Osun, where Governor Ade Dancer, Jogbafida of Osun, Ade Jackson, seems to have lost the control of the increasing communal clashes. And similarly in Ondo as well, a lot is going on. You see what is going on in Osun, right? Which they called communal clashes. Initially, it was between two communities, Ofin and Ilobu. Now they have another community that has joined Erin Osun, Abi Osun Erin, so who have joined, and the level of carnage, the level of destruction, including that of lives, that has been witnessed from all sides, by the way, in the last 5 days is massive. That we actually saw Yorubas leaving their homes to God knows where, possibly refugee camp that nobody really knows now as we speak in Yoruba land. Yeah, and there's been no single word from Tifnumbu even up to this this hour.
lòdì kan lòdì